Hello, everyone, and welcome to Podfluxxx, episode number 48. Ricky Reyes, my man, how you doing this week?
Doing good, doing good.
You catch anything newsworthy or notable or anything you wanted to talk about over the last few days in the world of professional wrestling?
Uh, no, not really. I mean, nothing jumped out at me at least.
Nothing jumped out at me too much either. So there are just a few things that I wanted to talk about to see if you saw or heard anything of. And I want to start with the Cody and Roman promo from SmackDown this week. Another 20-minute promo segment. How much of this did you catch?
Yeah, I got like little chunks of it on Twitter and stuff. Uh, I mean, nothing, again, ground shaking at all. I don't know. Is it just me or does it feel like it's kind of just let's get this shit over with type of thing now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was just a handful of months ago to be the most exciting WrestleMania,
Yeah.
build to WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania, whatever you want to call it, is now bumper to bumper traffic,
Yeah.
ice cold, does not feel exciting at all. And the promos at this point are paint by numbers,
Yeah.
uh, badly. So let's 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 break this this Roman and Cody promo down. Roman comes out first, as you would expect. Do you know how long it is before Roman says one word?
Who knows? At least 5 minutes, I would imagine.
4 minutes
Yeah.
and 36 seconds. And then he says half a sentence and then milks the reaction for another 45 seconds before he continues.
Ugh,
Okay?
yeah.
Says nothing. Like, says literal, like, just like if it was even a coherent sentence, I might remember it, but he says almost nothing and they go to commercial. They come back from commercial, okay? And then here comes Cody. Cody gets into the ring. We're 7 minutes. 7 minutes into this promo. And then they spend this this whole promo piece is basically like, well, can you trust Seth Rollins? I trusted Seth Rollins once. Do you think that was a mistake for you to trust Seth Rollins? It's just like they've lost the plot here.
Yeah, is this Roman talking or is this like what is Paul Heyman doing? Just standing there making
He,
faces?
yes, he's the face
Okay.
master in the
Like
corner.
I just feel like if they don't want Roman talking as much, or making his when he does talk mean more, shouldn't there be more Paul Heyman and then Roman maybe cutting him off at some point and then
Yeah.
saying something of value? Uh,
Hmm.
Even if it's a I could speak for myself type of thing at some point or something, because Roman just walking out as slowly as possible, trying to beat Undertaker's streak of slow walks here,
Yeah.
um, is I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch it, and then I'm trying to like gather up chunks, and it feels super boring to me. Like
Like there's nothing there.
yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for anything to jump out or people like, oh, I can't believe they said this and that. And I'm like, how many times have they did this slow, boring, staring at each other, making faces type thing? I don't know. Yeah, this is
Yeah. It
mine out.
was just it's uh it's lost now. The plot
So
is lost.
there's been no physicality between them since at all, right? Really? Like Cody and Roman, like, right?
No, none whatsoever.
Yeah, like
None.
I don't know. I mean, I always think back. I know we're gonna talk about old WrestleManias, but like I think back of like when Austin and The Rock, well, I think it was 17 in Houston, like the build up to that, the whole B-roll footage building up to the main event was them beating the shit
With
out of
the
each
Limp
other.
Bizkit video.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
But
god.
it was nonstop action. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was a fight. It was the guy upping the next guy the next week and so forth every week, right? It was like just let him go, just let him go, let him go, let him go at it. That was the feeling of it, right? And then with this, there's nothing but air and opportunity there, and they're just standing there, right, slowly talking
It
to each other.
it feels like they don't want to fight each other,
Right.
which
But
is the antithesis
right.
of all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, that's you're supposed to make them excited for the fight, not
Right.
say these two again. Like this is like Eric's dad complaining about Kevin's ankle cell every month for 9 months that we did it. This guy and his fucking ankle. I mean, yeah, his ankle. It's just to the point now where yeah, it's really boring. I don't even was there any nuggets of, taking stiff shots at each other? Was there any like, oh, he went there? Like there's
Nothing.
no
Cody tried to make like a Bullet Club
yeah,
reference,
I
and it
saw that. But
it fell flat.
that's not relevant. Like
Right.
what is that even what's even the point?
Uh, I think I think foolishly, Cody still thinks AEW matters more to the
Yeah,
general public than it actually does. And I think that's just like an ego thing because he went there and he started it, so he can't be like
yeah,
admit that it's a flop.
yeah,
So I feel like every chance he kind of gets, he throws out like a half-ass AEW reference, and and nobody seems to care. It was the same thing Punk was doing when he was
yeah.
trying to like put
Hmm.
the veiled AEW comments in there, and nobody reacted because nobody knows.
Right.
But
It's completely
it was
irrelevant.
really like, dude, like I literally rewatched that package 5 minutes before you and I got on here tonight. And outside of like Cody trying to make a Bullet Club joke and then them spending way too much time talking about the tag match and Seth Rollins,
Yeah.
I can't remember one thing that anybody said.
They're trying to force issues into something that doesn't have any issues because they had to, you know, throw this shit out there last minute. So they're trying to
Right.
make it all mean something. And it's really stupid because has Seth and Drew, like what kind of buildup do they got? Is there anything there? Like,
There was a promo, I think on Raw last week where you know Drew was basically like, you're spending too much time and effort and thought on this
yeah,
bloodline Cody Rhodes thing, and you're kind of overlooking me. And then Seth kind of sidestepped it, like, well, I try to focus in on the big deal and not sweat the small stuff. And Drew McIntyre, you're the small stuff.
right.
So I mean, it got a little bit of a reaction in the building, but then again, it also told us that, fuck that title match.
Basically, yeah,
So if the
totally.
champion doesn't think it matters, why should we think it matters?
Yeah. It's just dumb.
Have you evaluated this WrestleMania card as a whole yet?
I did. I saw it the other day. I wasn't super impressed, but I mean, I don't know. It's WrestleMania, so they'll make it feel a little bit bigger than what it is, obviously.
I have three contenders for show stealer here.
I've
LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
right, right.
I think that they're going to go out there to try and prove something.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, as much as I would have rather have seen Chad Gable, I think the Gunther and Sami Zayn match has the potential to be something special.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I'm intrigued. I'm not excited for yet, but I'm intrigued for Jimmy versus Jey Uso. And the reason I'm intrigued with that match is because it's either going to be like really fantastic or it's just gonna be like an open hand slap super kick festival. But I kind of feel like those two guys have probably been waiting for a moment like this. Like they've been having this match for 30 something years. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah.
either going to be way too overthought or really, really good.
Yeah, I'm
But
not exactly looking forward to that. Like, is that like a regular match, or are they doing some sort of Uso battle war thing?
there's going to be a Rikishi song in each corner.
Okay,
No, it says it's just a singles match.
okay, all right.
So
I didn't know if they were pulling out all kinds of tricks to spice it up because it's just a regular singles
yeah.
match. So I didn't know if they were doing another, tribal thing. No, I would say my third is probably the Becky Lynch Rhea Ripley match.
Yeah.
If I would say the two that you had said. I don't really care for the Uso match, but I think because I would like for them to keep the belt on Rhea.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of hard to argue if there's anybody better. Maybe leave it for Charlotte to take it off of her.
Yeah.
Maybe, but she's just on like a whole nother level of working. Like she's making these other girls when she's wrestling another underneath girl just look like they don't even belong in the same locker room. So it's going to be hard for me to get behind Becky Lynch to take it off her because Rhea's just really really good right now.
Did you see the clip of her from the house show this weekend, Rhea?
Of Rhea, no.
So Nia Jax tries to squish her in the corner,
Uh,
and Rhea reverses and drops Nia in the corner, and then goes out to the center of the ring and pulls her shorts way, way, way up her ass, and then stink face Nia Jax in the corner.
the only time I want to be Nia Jax.
So we got a full-fledged baby face on our heels here.
Right. Yeah, she's
Oh my
just
god.
right now, like
So
character wise and stuff too. She's just firing on all cylinders. I don't know what the hell is going on with that Judgment Day group exactly, but she's so far above it right now. It's just holding her down, I think. So,
uh speaking of the Judgment Day, where are you at on this six-pack challenge tag team ladder match gimmick for WrestleMania?
oh, I didn't know it was a ladder match. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, not liking that. Um, just another one of those stunt matches, someone's gonna jump off something through something. Hopefully not hurt anybody too bad, but Yeah,
12 guys.
yeah, a lot of ideas there. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like it. You know how it is with those matches. It's just at this point, it's just who can build the coolest contraption and jump through it or off it or whatever. So I don't know. It does nothing for the tag titles.
Mhm.
It just, again, it hurts it hurts it if anything, right? Because there's no unified tag team title match to be had at WrestleMania. You got fucking 2 days of shows and you can't find a tag team that can go straight up for the belts. Like the belts would mean nothing now.
Yep. Somewhere Joey Mercury's having a PTS match flashback.
Exactly.
So, all
Ladder
right.
to the face.
Here's yeah. Here's what I want to get to. Okada has beat Eddie Kingston for the Continental Championship. Did you catch any of this on Twitter this past week?
Wait, what was it?
Okada
Oh,
beating Eddie Kingston for
yeah.
the
I mean,
Continental Championship.
I saw the clip of the finish. Um, the very
Okay.
no, the very difficult to
The
get up
very
Eddie Kingston for Emerald Fusion, and then the Rainmaker. So not surprised.
uh the the first thing I'd like to address is I'd like to know why Eddie Kingston is wearing bell bottoms. I don't know if you caught that, but those were
Yes.
definitely like 70s women's department bell bottoms. Uh
Yeah. I don't know.
Fashion wise, I don't know what this guy is doing.
Right. I don't know.
Uh what I what I did like was at the end of this match, Pac came out and kind of menaced Okada from the top of the entranceway. So
Oh,
if
I
we're
didn't
gonna
know
get
that.
a Pac Okada program here,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Yeah.
Did you see as explained the way that the Continental title is to be defended going forward?
With pro wrestling rules.
Yes, but how so apparently the way it's going to be is that whoever the Continental champion is going into the Continental Classic will basically be handing in their title until the end of the tournament. So here's what his quote is. This is Tony Khan's quote.
Oh
Whoever is
God.
the champion going into the Continental Classic, they will put the title up going into the Continental Classic. The champion will have the opportunity to retain it by winning the tournament. The Continental title will be defended under Continental rules for the rest of the year. No outside interference, nobody allowed at ringside. Whoever is the champion coming out of full gear will defend the title in the Continental Classic, and at World's End will determine who will be the Continental champion. So you could be this champion all year long, and then it's just like, oh, it's November, you're not the champion anymore, which is foolish.
Right.
I feel like whoever wins the tournament should just fight the champion at the pay per view.
Right.
Also, interesting note: Okada only won the Continental Championship. It feels so weird saying the word Continental half of a word.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so Kingston is still the ROH World Champion and the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. He will be defending the ROH World Title against Mark Briscoe at Supercard of Honor this year,
Yeah. I saw that
which is interesting.
in Philadelphia.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Um.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I saw that. In my head, I thought, isn't Brian wasn't Brian planning on retiring this year, or was this last year, or was I wrong? Did I hear that wrong or something?
Yeah, no, I heard something months back that like he promised his children he'd retire by a certain time, but I think this might be like the Sting Dixie Carter thing where every time he's like, listen, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go home now. I'm gonna finish
Yeah.
up. And
Right.
Dixie was like, take all this money. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. All
probably
right.
hard to leave.
Because my idea was that Brian, if he was going to finish up by the end of this year, I thought it would have been cool to win all three belts and then drop each belt like kind of on a farewell tour throughout the year, like have a last final battle and lose the Ring of Honor world title.
Mm-hmm.
Drop the strong belt at like King of Pro Wrestling pay-per-view in New Japan, let them say goodbye there, and then end at a
Right.
big pay-per-view, or lose in the finals or whatever of this Continental Classic type thing, and just I don't know. I thought that would have been a cool thing to do with Brian, like that would have took us throughout the entire year, um, kind of each thing, hyping up it's each thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see Pac and Okada. Uh, I'd like to see Pac and Roderick. To be honest with you, that would be a
Ooh.
match
Ooh.
that I could, yeah, because that could get ugly real fast, and you don't have to bring weapons because those two guys kind of are weapons. So
Right.
yeah, I would just let them just. I mean, I would book something till the end of uh the end of the year, or maybe in All In or in London or something, and then have them go like an Iron Man match or something, or maybe a big Dynamite build up to like a 30-minute Iron Man match with those two guys. But um, of course they wouldn't do anything like that makes sense. But uh I don't know. I mean, we'll
Right.
see. Everyone's got a fucking belt. I'm assuming Kingston drops the belt to Briscoe in Philadelphia because that would be the right thing to do. And then
Right.
eventually, I'm sure he's gearing up to drop it somewhere to someone at Strong at some point this year too. So I don't know. We'll see. That could be. Strong has resurgence in Ontario in May. So the open weight belt is supposed to be defended there. So I'm assuming that would be the spot to do it. So
All right. And then a little interesting side topic here that I came up with this week. On Twitter, whenever you see somebody criticize how many people are at an AEW show or anything that AEW does wrong. The AEW defenders and the fan base like to hang their hat on Wembley.
Right.
We sold 72,000 tickets to Wembley, the highest attended pro wrestling event ever, right? Belongs to AEW. And they're very much like Yankee fans in that respect. That'll be like, hey, we haven't done anything in 10 years, but we've won 27 world titles.
Right.
I did some math this weekend, Rick. Over the course of 2023, AEW had 95 events that they sold 502,000 tickets to. Okay? So they sold 500,000 tickets over 95 events. Now, granted, 72,000 of those tickets came from one night. Okay? And then I said, why don't I see what the WWE did ticket-wise last year? And it's out there plain as day, over 220 events. The WWE sold 1.75 million tickets. Okay. So they far surpassed AEW ticket sales. But then I said, but that's not fair because they had 220 events. Right. So I broke it down even further. And I said, well, let me see what they did in just their pay-per-views. Okay? So I took 11 1 WWE pay-per-views from the year 2023 and looked at their ticket sales and compared them to the entirety of AEW's ticketing for 2023. Are you ready?
Yes.
The entirety of AEW's 95 events, remember, for 2023 drew 502,000 people.
All right.
WWE's 11 premium live events for the year 2023 drew 351,072 people. Okay? Which means that AEW, over their course of the year, only drew 150,000 more people than 11 of the WWE's premium live events. So that is a fun statistic that I am going to bring to Twitter just as a friendly reminder. What do you think about that? 11 events to the year.
That's insane. The amount of money that they made in those 11 events is almost what they made in the entire year. Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know why these AEW marks want to argue so badly about attendance and awareness and who's number 2 and who's number 1. I mean, AEW might as well be number 11 because the gap between one and the next person is, I mean, the real fight is at number 2, who's a credible number 2, so I don't know. It's a stupid thing to say, to argue about, but they do. So.
Did you hear about the MLW WWE lawsuit settlement?
Yes, I did. Is it 20 million?
Okay. Yeah, so technically, I think that makes MLW the second most profitable American wrestling
Right.
company in 2023,
You're right. Exactly.
right? Because they actually made $20 million
Yeah.
domestically. Uh, anyway, moving on. Let's get into our WrestleMania memories. Ricky, you told me last week what your favorite WrestleMania is, and we'll get there. What is the first WrestleMania you remember like being cognizant of?
That one, I would say 5 I was the most
5?
interested in. Yeah, that was the one I was the most interested in, that like I felt like the world was going to end because I couldn't watch it, you know? Um and I
Right.
remember going to like uh Stater Brothers, this grocery store by my parents' house, and looking every week for, the WrestleMania magazines, um, any kind of updates or write-ups, right? But back in those days, it would take forever
Right.
for the magazine's coverage to ever bring them out. So it was probably like, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months later that I would see the magazine I ended up, begging my mom to get, which was WrestleMania 5's photo scrapbook. I think it was Wrestling Ringside, and it had a picture of Hulk Hogan on it, and and then it had everybody underneath, and yeah, I just remember that was the one that I had to like sit there forever, and just, I don't know how many times I went through that magazine, like Demolition and the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude, and um, I hated those yellow steps. Trump Plaza had those yellow steps that everybody came down. It was just ugly looking. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
There's so many matches with like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jimmy Hart involvement, and I don't know. I just thought it was the coolest thing. I think that was Mr. Perfect's debut, WrestleMania 5 as well. That may have been him in Blue Blazer, but I can't really. I'm not for certain that was it,
Yeah,
but
it was WrestleMania
yeah,
5. That was Blazer and Mr. Perfect.
yeah. Because I remember seeing Mr. Perfect and thinking like he looks like like an Olympic bodybuilder or something, because he had the neon green and he had the tan and he was so jacked, and I just remember like, wow, Mr. Perfect,
Yeah.
like I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
My favorite Mr. Perfect promo when I was a kid was the one after Kerry Von Erich beat him for SummerSlam. Do you remember that? They did a pre-match and a post-match promo. And in
Was
the
it when he was
pre-match
knocked
promo,
unconscious?
he did the bump to the post and then turned around into the claw, and then he
Yeah,
released the claw into the Texas
and then
Tornado
yeah,
Punch.
right,
And then he's selling all goofy, and then they come to a promo after, and he's
yeah,
got his hair parted that way it looks like it's selling a bump,
right.
like a lump on his forehead. But the promo beforehand where they were like they were talking about how the Bobby Heenan was like a tornado kicks over a couple mobile homes,
Yeah,
moves
uh,
some dust around, and then
right,
they at the same time they both did the
uh,
nobody beats Mr. Perfect, nobody. And
right,
then they were irate in the post match, but that's not
yeah.
WrestleMania related. So okay, so WrestleMania 5, that was
Mega powers explode.
Mega Powers Explode. You had the Rockers versus Akeem and Bossman.
Yep.
You had
Demolition.
what was it? It was Demolition versus the Powers of Pain and Fuji. That was good. That was right after Fuji turned on them, right?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
on them at Survivor Series, I think it was that year.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's good shit. And then Dino Bravo and Ronnie Garvin. Oh, Arn and Tully versus Strike Force.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake versus Andre. Brett and Anvil versus Honky Tonk and Valentine.
Yeah. Rhythm and
And
blues.
then, yep. Oh, and this was the year that Rick Rude beat the Warrior for the
Yeah.
IC title.
Yeah. When Bobby the Brain held his foot, remember?
Was this though? This when you were when you were a kid, this was a one match card for you though. It was all about the Mega Powers.
Yeah, kind of. I liked Demolition a lot, and I was at least interested in Ultimate Warrior, like because of the SummerSlam thing when he beat Honky so fast. Like they
Yeah.
made me like care so much about him. So I didn't think Rick Rude was gonna win. Like I couldn't believe that win, because in my mind I was like, man, the guy who's always blowing kisses at girls, like he's kind of like skinny. Like how did he beat Ultimate Warrior? And then when I saw the picture, I was like, that son of a bitch, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he strikes again.
The Weasel.
Yeah, exactly. The Weasel.
Oh man, that's funny. So for me, the first WrestleMania that like I remember being like aware of was WrestleMania 6. But my favorite, and I'll buddy for it, was WrestleMania 8. Now you scoffed at that last week, right? So I just
Yeah.
want to run down this WrestleMania 8 card for you.
All
All
right.
right. Shawn Michaels versus El Matador Tito Santana.
Yes.
Okay. Uh and that's like how the show starts.
Mhm.
And then you get Undertaker versus Jake Roberts. All
Yeah.
right. And then Bret Hart and Roddy Piper had a fantastic match for
Yeah.
the Intercontinental title. And it was the first time I've ever seen the drop kick the top rope, roll over, roll up finish.
Yeah.
Remember that one that Bret does?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
First time I ever seen that. It was fantastic. And then there was a huge 8-man tag match. Bossman, Virgil, Sergeant Slaughter, and Jim Duggan versus the Mountie, the Nasty Boys, and the Repo Man. Tremendous. They did, bro. It was the first ever PWG spot. They did the 8-man suplex.
Did they? Oh God.
Yeah. They did the 8-man double clothesline and they did an 8-man suplex. All right. And then Randy Savage beats
Ric Flair.
Flair for the world
Yeah.
title. A fantastic match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had Earthquake and Typhoon, all right, beat Money Inc. to become the WWF Tag Team Champions.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Another barn burner, all right.
Okay.
And then they had Owen beat Skinner in a minute and a half just to calm everybody down before the Hulk Hogan Sid Justice match. It was the return of the Ultimate Warrior. So as like an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
this show had everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was no beating this card. And it was like the first one. I didn't watch it live. My mom's friend taped it for me. So in my like like tape trader tape, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
somebody handed me a Maxwell House
Yeah.
VHS that I still have that was
Right.
handwritten WrestleMania 8 on, and I was like, oh man. And next year, WrestleMania 9 was the first one I watched live.
Mm.
And I was lucky because it was in Vegas, so it was on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
No, you know, we couldn't all be like you West Coast kids where everything was on in the afternoon. So, have you ever been to a WrestleMania?
No, no. I have
No.
two rules that I'll have forever and ever. One is you don't go to a WrestleMania unless you're scheduled to be there, and you don't go to Madison Square Garden for the same reason unless you're scheduled to be there. So I've the WrestleMania in Hollywood,
Okay.
I think it was 21. I worked the week before, and then I worked the week after on darks and helping the guys like go over their matches. They had at the Hilton there in LA, they had blocked off the parking structure, you know, like the different levels of parking, and they had rings in each one, and you know, I was booked to be there to help guys like, you know, work like Chris Masters, you know, like they're like, oh, can you get in there with Chris? We want to see him move around, you know, just sell for him, you know. And so I did that. And then I remember Regal was there and Tommy Dreamer both. They were like, oh, come to WrestleMania and you know, you can watch the show. And I remember saying like, yeah, I can't do that. Like I'm not gonna just come hang out in a suit and be in the way, you know, because it was at that point it was at the Staples Center. So you can imagine how hectic in a basketball arena WrestleMania could be. I mean, it's hectic as hell in a stadium.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just felt like, and I was there for Raw and then SmackDown. I think SmackDown was in San Diego or something. So I went down there and I just thought like, there's no way I'm gonna be just in everyone's way all fucking day at WrestleMania. Like, so I remember I went home and I watched WrestleMania at home, but with my dad.
Right. I even as a kid though, as a child, you had no attempts at a WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I mean I wanted to, but there was no like we didn't have money for that type of stuff. Like I never saw pay-per-views either. Like uh we didn't have money for that stuff. So that's why I mean like getting the magazine was the only way I kept up with wrestling, and it was so frustrating because I'm watching wrestling on the weekends, right? Saturday and Sunday, and all they're talking about is WrestleMania and SummerSlams, and I'm like, oh my god! And then the magazines take a fucking like 2 months,
2
and I'm
months.
just like,
The
2
VHS
months,
takes a year.
yeah, and I'm just yeah, exactly. Or yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Would wait to go to Mr. Video on Friday afternoons after my dad got paid, and we'd go get Little Caesars pizza, and we could rent one VHS, you know, each or whatever. So my brother was getting I don't know what, but I was walking to the guy at the counter like, "Do you guys got WrestleMania yet?" And he's like, "No, what the hell is that?" You know, or did SummerSlam come in? You know, and so I just go rent a random old one, you know, to hold me over. So
As a kid, like we were chronologically, like we were up to, like I said, like I remember like things around WrestleMania 6,
mm,
and like 7 was one of the first ones that I remember watching the VHS of. But then like once I was at like WrestleMania 8, like I made it my business in Blockbuster Video to like catch up on
yeah,
all of the pay-per-view
yeah,
events from
yeah.
before then. Like
Hmm.
still to this day, my favorite SummerSlam is 91. Right. That was the Tornado and Texas Tornado and Mr. Perfect. Excuse me, 90. Texas Tornado and Mr. Perfect. The Hart Foundation versus Demolition, 2 out of 3 falls when the Road Warriors came down and pulled Axe out from under the ring. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, I loved all the stuff from before then.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I got to go to my father had no idea how big of a deal WrestleMania was. So he was just like, yeah, we're going to WrestleMania. We're going to WrestleMania. We're going to WrestleMania. And then we drive into the city and he doesn't have tickets. So we walk up to the box office, right? And there's no tickets at the box office. His second thing is sold out. So we go to a scalper and he hits a scalper on the street and the guy bags him for like, I think it was like $300 a ticket back then in like 1994. Right. So that's probably like 600 a piece today. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we watched they were great seats though. And we watched WrestleMania 10. And then I also went to WrestleMania 35 at MSG. I mean, excuse me, at the MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium, yeah. I remember
that. I was supposed to be the person in charge of getting our group tickets for WrestleMania 20. Where it all began again at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I overslept through the opening of the ticket sales. And they went much quicker back then because there wasn't 70,000 seats in the Garden.
Right, exactly,
So
yeah.
There was a group of guys that never got over that. As far as a modern WrestleMania, what's your go-to modern WrestleMania?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a more modern one that I'd go to, but I have like, at least when I was wrestling, I would have matches that I would watch from different WrestleManias. But I think I liked the one Flair's retirement in Florida. Was that 34 or was it 34? No. 24? 24 maybe?
No,
I felt like that
24.
was a good show. Wasn't that Taker and Edge as well? Or was that Batista and Edge?
And I will.
I don't know if it was Batista and Edge or Taker and Edge, but whatever Taker match that was, I think that was Taker and Edge. That was the 3-way with Orton, Cena, and Triple H as well. I think when Cena came back at the Garden that year.
Yeah, that was Undertaker and Edge.
Yeah.
That was Orton, Triple H, and Cena. Yeah. That was Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. I felt like that one had a really good flow, and I thought overall, like the matches were they were all on fire that night. So I would say that one would be my go-to if I'm going to sit down and watch one modern day WrestleMania. I felt like that was the one that I enjoyed the most.
But yeah, that had the Belfast Brawl with JBL and Finlay.
Yes.
Remember that where they just beat the piss out of each other for about 10 minutes?
Of each other. Yeah, that was awesome.
And then it was the CM Punk Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Batista. Yep. Batista and Umaga. Oh, that's Kane fucking chokeslam Chavo in 11 seconds.
Yeah, for the ECW title.
I like the one from Santa Clara.
Oh, WrestleMania 31? 31?
31, yeah.
Yeah. Roman and Triple H.
I liked the
that was no wait.
Yeah.
Roman and Brock. That was the cash in?
No, it was it was Roman and Brock where Seth Rollins commits the
Cashed in.
the heist of a lifetime.
Yeah, that was Seth and Orton on first. And Orton beat him with that pop-up RKO.
Right, and Orton popped him up for that arc.
Yeah, that was insane. That's when I knew Seth was cashing in. That's when I knew. I was like, he cashes in, and his first feud is Orton because he beat him. I was like, this makes so much sense. Like,
and then it was the Triple H Sting, which if you fall for nostalgia easily, like I do, I mean,
right, that was fun.
That was a good one for me.
That was a fun match, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I enjoyed that entire WrestleMania.
I think Bryan won the Intercontinental belt in the ladder match. Right, yeah.
Yep. Which sucked because like
did he forfeit it right away?
Remember Wade Barrett like broke his elbow against the announce desk?
Yeah.
Like almost immediately into that match.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was, and Luke Harper had a couple of really good spots in that match.
Yeah, he did.
There was Undertaker and Bray Wyatt on that card.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Crazy. But here we are. We're just a couple of weeks from WrestleMania 38, and I am way less excited than I was 2 months ago.
Exactly.
All right, bud. You got anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, that was about it. That was good.
All right, excellent. Look at us. We turned something to nothing.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we should have turned nothing to something, but we definitely turned something to nothing here tonight.
Yeah.
So
just like WrestleMania this year.
For Ricky Reyes, that's you. Oh God. All right. Well, that's Ricky Reyes. I'm Kevin Fulton. This has been Podfluxxx, episode number 48. Motherfluxers, we'll catch you next week. Ricky, I'll catch you later.
Later.